Hello and welcome to another episode of Biz Bites, where we give businesses an opportunity to share their story with you guys listening in. And I have Colin Hunt with me today. And Colin, I want you to give us a little bit of an introduction, firstly, to your business and what it's all about.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on your podcast, Anthony. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. I'm the founder of a purpose-led franchise business, and our purpose is to positively impact people's life, not only in business, but also at home and in the community. And what that involves really is helping people on their journey from where they are now to where they aspire to be in the future. And maybe also giving them some guidance and help to stand back from the daily grind and actually think through what they view a successful life to be. It's very sad, I find, when you see particularly business owners who are very successful in their business and maybe making, tons of money, but the rest of their life it has suffered as a result. Their relationships, their bonding with their children, and association within the community in groups, whether it's sporting, whatever, that they've lost touch with because their focus has been entirely on their business. So we're very much about helping people to have a successful life. And I stress that we are not anti making money. Making money is very important if you want a successful life, because you have to fund your ideal lifestyle. It's getting not so much a work-life balance. Work-life balance is fine for some people, but I personally prefer what I refer to as an integrated work life. So what that means is that if I need to break off during normal work time to share something with the family, perhaps, it's a school event or whatever, then I will do that and prioritize that. And equally, maybe in the evening, I catch up with the work I should have done in the daytime. So I like to time slice and get a balance in that way, rather than work-life balance, which is like, well, I'll only work 9 till 5, Monday to Friday.
Yeah, it's that different way of thinking has, I think, not only resonated with people for the obvious reasons, but I think the whole COVID period pushed that button for people and has allowed that to become a little bit more acceptable than perhaps it would have been 5-6 years ago only. And I think that's a fascinating idea. And I've been fortunate that I've had my own business for some time now, so I've had that flexibility to be able to do that and break things off to when the kids were younger, to take them to and from school. But even now, I'm here. I'm talking to you today, and I'm on the Central Coast rather than in Sydney, where I spend some of my time, because the lifestyle affords me to be able to do that. And I think it's fascinating that there are businesses like yours that, as you say, are purpose driven around that whole idea. And I think what I wanted to get into as well with you is that it's interesting when you talk about being purpose driven and you talk about enabling people to do that. You haven't said at any point the basic services of what you offer, which I find really interesting in doing that, because there are services that you offer that many people would see standard, and many businesses like yours, that not quite like yours, but of that same ilk, would probably lead with that.
Well, one of the things we coach our clients on is this idea that you have to have products and services that are unique, and it's the product or the service which is all important. Now, I'm not saying products and services are not important, don't get me wrong, okay? But often business owners struggle to make something that is unique. What is unique, in a world where there's so much competition? And what I say is, if you're a business owner and you are authentic, you are the face of your business, that is your unique selling point. There is not another you.
Absolutely. You and your experiences are everything that define the difference that your business offers.
That's right. And people buy from people first. So, in my father's generation, which is going back a few years now, I won't say how many, but he was extremely loyal to his suppliers, and his customers were extremely loyal to him. And it was not because of the products and services. Lots of people did similar products and services. It was because of his personal stature, if you like, his reputation. He would stick with a supplier, even if the supplier messed up, because he knew that that person was a good person he could rely on. And if they made a mistake, they would fix it up.
Yeah, I learned that lesson many years ago as well. It's how you respond, right? It's the response. I mean, we're human. We will make mistakes. It's how you respond to those mistakes that is the differentiator in a business. And I've seen a lot of businesses try to cover things up and not admit to mistakes. I think a COO that I worked with many, many years ago, and I'm still in touch with him and still do some work with him, said to me, I remember when I was quite young at the time, and said, look, if you make a mistake, own up to it straight away. 30 seconds later, I'll forgive you and we'll move on. And he was true to his word. I didn't make many mistakes, but when if I did make the odd mistake, so long as you owned up to it, he was very happy to move on. If you didn't, he would I saw it with other people, he'd fester on it and get angry, and there are repercussions.
Exactly. I mean, when you try to hide things, you think you're hiding it successfully. Usually you're not. The other people are smarter than you think they are, and they've figured it out, and they're annoyed by it. So it's not good. And the same thing within a team. I mean, we're very big on culture in our team. In a moment, I'll answer the question you put to me about our products and services, but
no, it's fascinating. I love it. I love this discussion.
Within our team, we've actually got a nice glossy brochure which talks all about our culture internally. We've got over 50 franchisees, so we felt that was a good investment to make. And we encourage people to have the courage to make mistakes, because if you have a culture where people know that they can have a go, and if it doesn't work out, it's not going to be, the end of their career kind of thing. Yeah. So if you have a culture where you're not allowed to make mistakes, then everybody plays safe, and you don't get the innovation. You don't get people trying new things. You don't get people going out of their comfort zone to extend and stretch themselves into new areas. So having a culture where you're allowed to make mistakes is very important. That doesn't mean to say that we say, hey, look, just be reckless. That's not that's not what we're talking about. But if you tried something new and it doesn't work, then ask for help. Because when you've got a big team, as I have, Two minds are better than one. In our case, over 50. Well, we've probably got about 60 people now. 60 brains are better than two. So, when you ask for help, it's surprising how the response that you get. And you can get an awful lot more done. But to come back to your question, what are our products and services? Well, there's a little bit of a story behind that. When we got up to about 40 franchisees, and that in franchising is a bit of a sort of plateau. You tend to get up to that sort of number, and then you kind of stall. Because there's a certain degree of churn, and the churn equals growth kind of thing. And what I decided to do was to actually take that whole business apart and put it back together again. Because a business that is right when you start out, is not the right structure, etc., when you become mature and you're, at some scale. So as part of that process, we became purpose-driven, and purpose-driven makes it so easy to make decisions. Because when we have choices, should we do A, B, C, D, whatever, it's simply a question of saying, well, which of these options is most closely aligned with our purpose? We'll do that.
Yep.
It makes life so easy. Now, because of that, and as I said earlier, we look to support our clients on a journey from where they are to where they aspire to be. We realized we needed a much broader range of services. So we started out doing bookkeeping and accounting and, traditional services there. We tended to recruit people from corporate because they had better people skills. They were used to explaining financial issues to non-financial line managers and be part of the decision-making process. And we saw that kind of service the future of the industry. But now we've broadened that out to be a firm of professional services. And my view of the team is much broader. So we now have 4 brands. We have EzyAccounts, which does the traditional bookkeeping, accounting services, some business advisory, virtual financial manager, financial controller, etc., all those good things. We have Ezy Academy, which is our learning management system. And we use it ourselves to get all of our IP. So it makes our IP more tangible and more valuable because we've got it in a modern learning management system. That makes onboarding new people much more efficient and effective. And it also supports lifetime learning for the whole team. And that's really important in an industry that has been very traditional and then has gone through a period of fairly rapid change. So in addition to Ezy Academy, and we provide that now as a service, we've got very lucky to have somebody on board who is quite skilled at neurodiverse learning. And for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it just means that different people learn in different ways.
Absolutely.
And you need a system that's flexible enough to deal with that.
It's so important to get your head around that idea. I think we have, we could probably talk for hours about that subject alone, but it's really that we're taught the wrong way in schools, quite frankly, and from then up, that there's only one way of learning. And the truth is we all learn quite differently. And once you can accept that and cater for that, then you're in a much better position to be able to work with people in a better way.
Well, that's right. And learning really starts when you leave school.
Yes.
Lifetime learning is really so important now, because otherwise you get out of date really quickly.
I
And
remember even in
so we
university that was
embrace
said to
this
me.
technology.
I remember at university
Yeah.
days that was said to me that, as great as the course was that I did, said you're going to learn more in the first 6 months out of university than you did in the 3 years of the course. And that was 100% true.
Mm. And I find that exciting. I like learning new things. I learn new things every day. I wish I could remember them all. So that's EzyAccounts and Easy Academy, and then we have Easy Growth and Easy Leadership. Now, both Easy Growth and Easy Leadership are really about growth, helping businesses to grow in a sustainable way. And the Easy Leadership is the people side of growth. So we do things like high-performing teams, for example, personality profiling, as well as leadership coaching. And Easy Growth is more of what I would call the numbers logistical side of business growth. So, we do business benchmarking, we do virtual CFO, virtual company secretary, and also coach people either on a one-to-one or in groups on well-structured growth programs. Now, a lot of people think that growth is kind of not necessarily a straight line, but some kind of straight curve. It's not. Growth is like walking up a flight of stairs. And before you take the next step, you need to be structured and organized and financed to make that next step. Because if you make half a step, you fall over. So a lot of people just say, well, we're doing really well on sales. Let's just do more of the sales and we'll grow and we'll make lots of money. And that's fine up to a point. But you reach points in growth where you may have increased your revenue substantially, but what you find is your profits have gone down and you start to run into cash flow problems. So being able to grow a business rapidly, A, it's not for the faint-hearted, but B, it is not for the unprepared. And like climbing a mountain, it's quite a good idea to have a guide that can assist you on that journey, get you up safely and get you back down again safely.
Absolutely. And look, there's so much that we could unpack. There's so much we could unpack and talk about, but I just wanted to ask you a final question as well. I mean, you've got 4 elements to your business that you've outlined there, and I'm fascinated always to ask, as you've grown your business over a period of time, what's helped you grow it? What are the marketing insights perhaps that you can give that's enabled you to grow over the last few years? And indeed, you're helping lots of other businesses or the franchisees grow as well.
I think a key thing on marketing is that there's a lot of noise out there, and that as a small business, you're limited in your resources. Now, we did something very interesting and unusual. We're part of a global network of small businesses, all of whom are purpose-led. So that being purpose-led is what we have in common. Other than that, they're completely diverse range of industries. We actually collaborated together to run a social media campaign globally, and we achieved the same sort of results that a large corporate would have with a big budget. Now, you're probably going to say, well, yeah, how did you do that? Well, large corporates, when they run a big marketing campaign, they engage a significant number of small businesses who are specialists, video production companies, and the like, marketing agencies. Well, in this network, guess what? We had all those people. So we all had the same incentive. So we all contributed our time and our resources free of charge. That was that was a contribution that each person made. Collectively, we had the same campaign that a large corporate would have. It's just that people weren't charging each other. It was, if you like, a form of bartering, no transaction, just collaboration. And I do, this really happened by accident. I was asked to do a keynote for Intuit, who are the largest accounting software vendor for small business in the world. They've got about 30 million clients. And I did it on collaboration over competition. And that really struck a chord with people. And subsequently, I've been asked to do it at other places. I did it last month at Accountex, and I'm doing it again for the Entrepreneurs Conference this Saturday, actually. And what I've just explained to you, where small businesses coming together to collaborate and having, as big an impact as a large business with a large budget, I think that is a really key opportunity. We haven't seen that much before, but we did it. It worked. And I think having a mindset where you collaborate with like-minded people is definitely something that gives you a big advantage on marketing.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And it's the power of that collaboration, the power of working together, the power of people engaging with people is what it comes down to. And that purpose-driven and that drives your business and drives the businesses that you work with. Absolutely love it. Colin, we could talk for a long time. I know you and I have talked for a long time previously as well, and we will continue to do that. But I wanted to thank you very much for sharing this with the audience, and we're going to include some contact details for you alongside of the podcast. So, Colin, thank you so much again for your time, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
You're very welcome, Anthony, and thank you for having me on your show.